Romance, relationship, creativity, and long distance travel are on the menu in the month of March for all of you amazing Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising people. We're going to break down as well two eclipses this month, one in the sign of Aries and another one in the sign of Virgo. These are very important closures and beginnings for you of cycles in reality. And the closure, of course, of the Aries last eclipse coming up the end of March is finishing up a cycle of eclipses that have had you making significant changes to your work, to your health, to maybe situations with rental properties or your pets. And this is the last eclipse in that area. It's going to be a big deal. And also, if you're looking for love and romance, creativity and success in that area of artists and creatives, it's going to be an interesting month ahead as well. Let's break down the eclipse stories as well as the transits of the month in great detail. We're going to go through it chronologically. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Lori Lothian. I'm using the Western Tropical Zodiac, whole sign houses, and of course, the fixed stars and minor asteroids are favorite areas of interest for me. So you'll find a lot of my content here includes these stars and asteroids. And if you want to like and subscribe and join in, you'll find you get incredible details, especially the upcoming eclipses on my channel during the month of March. The only thing I want to share with you before we dive into your sign is if you want to join me on a live class, I'm teaching 6 weeks of Venus retrograde every Saturday. We're going to be together on Zoom. You get replays available, a private Facebook group, 2 weeks of Q&A, 3 Q&As every 2 weeks, and more and more and more. Even collaging a collage party. We're doing this because Venus is retrograding for 40 days in a way we haven't seen since 2017. And it's a big deal in your chart. It's going to activate fertility, creativity, pregnancy, romance, things to do with also work and health routines. And we're going to see you making changes in your life as a Scorpio that you haven't done since 2017. So this is a really good time to come into a course to understand how to best navigate this. Ain't like anything you've seen before because Pluto is getting involved as well. So this is an important time to check into the Venus retrograde. Come join me. In the description box below, class starts March 1st. I may keep enrollment open through to the end of the first week of March. We shall see. All right. Let's start off with the beginning of the story. I'll show you the chart, you Scorpio folk, you watery people. Now, let's take a look at the picture here. Probably, you know, if you're astrologically on top of your game, that you've had a Mars retrograde up here since January 6th in Cancer, had a direct February 23rd. And this is your ninth house of foreign shores, travel and lands, higher education, book publishing, and matters to do with your spiritual life and being on purpose. It's a big deal for you because Mars has headed direct in the month of March. He's steaming forward and giving you momentum. And I just want you to know that this kind of momentum is rare. For him to come off of the Leo sky, your career space, retrograde into your meaning of life, and then go forward, kind of indicates that as he plows forward in March through until mid-June, the story could be moving your career path towards something that feels more true, meaningful, and honest for you, but also making changes in your life connected to spiritual philosophy and a sense of spiritual connection to the divine. And maybe for some of you going to university or college, especially if it's just for the express purpose of changing careers or activating greater career success. So the headline there is simply this: Mars in a flowing trine to you supports you to move forward finally during the month of March on things that got stalled in that ninth house, starting on January 6th to February 23rd. Go watch my Mars Unstuck video. Okay, so March, we're going to break it down in chronological order. March the 1st to the 8th. Let's start off with the main stories. Beginning on March the 1st to the 8th, we're going to see a beautiful opportunity arrive. That's courtesy of Jupiter and the Sun. We could call this a opportunity that requires action and decisions in a timely manner around visas, passports, foreign travel, matters to do with higher education, court and legal cases. When I say you need to make pause. Sorry, I'm reading Libra. Sorry about that. Let's go back. No, I'm not going to re-record this intro. I don't have the time or the patience. I apologize. This is what happened, is that my chart moved signs on me. So we're talking about your 8th house of chunky money. I was wondering, what? 8th house of chunky money. That could be a bank loan, a mortgage, a tax rebate. maybe opportunities to purchase or sale or buy property or real estate. That energy is very activated for you guys, and you're going to feel opportunity arising regarding eighth house money matters that I described, and something that feels like luck. The sun is in the house of good fortune, where we have a feeling of winning money or winning and being successful. So it's kind of a lucky break, but it connects to, again, as I said, sort of a chunk of money that can come to you in a chunk or piecemeal way. It's not your salary, your paycheck, and your earnings. It's unearned often. It could be a sudden loan, but you feel lucky. And with Pluto in the fourth house, some of you may be looking at financing and mortgages and property matters and feeling lucky here as well. The sun also in your fifth house is a very powerful place for the sun in terms of you feeling like you want to be on purpose with your art and your creativity. And there may be a lucky financial break regarding art, creativity, and entrepreneurial businesses as well. Again, we're talking about those first 2 days of March in essence. When we move into the first couple of days of March as well, Mercury gets all snuggled up to Neptune and the North Node. And this is really activating in the first 3 days of March. And it's beautiful energy for creativity, art, entrepreneurial success, unexpected, shocking, surprising news from your spouse that you're pregnant together. That's Uranus over there. I love this energy because Neptune is dreamy and fantastical, and Saturn is make it real and in a destined way. Some sort of vision or goal you have around creating or art or entrepreneurial or fertility or romance becomes very beautifully activated in that first 2 to 3 days of March. And I'd like that it is in a sextile to Uranus in the house of significant other. So there could be for single Scorpios a brand new relationship coming onto the horizon, especially when we get Venus back in to the sign of Neptune in her retrograde. And that would be a soulmate, past life vibe, or somebody you've known in the past returning to you and a relationship beginning to happen again. We'll talk about the dates for Venus back in Pisces in a bit, but just know that's coming this month, because Venus is also retrograde at the start of March, but we will talk about that later when we get to the mid-March stories. Now, one thing you have to consider here is that Mercury is sextiling Pluto on the 5th of March. And what we like about that quality of energy is that Pluto is all about what is powerful, potent, and it can include the word wealth. And Mercury is all about, when he moves over to your 6th house, work. And we need to pin the sky back a bit in terms of ascensional time. Give me a sec. So we'll get the ascendant back to 0 Aries, which it was at the start of this video, which I'm like, can't figure out how I ended up with Libra. Yes, come on back. Come on back, Scorpio. You see the ascendant on the left is moving back. There's no better way to do it than by minutes. I guess I should have tried by hours. Okay, this is probably good enough to get us through the month without skipping signs. So you'll see Mercury's jumping the fence on the 3rd and entering into your workhouse. And this is your home. And yet it's also the house of debts. And you have Jupiter in the house of chunky money. And all said and done, this kind of combination of Mercury, Pluto, and Jupiter could be an unexpected bit of wealth from a family of origin member, mom, dad, granddad, take your pick, someone up the line, chunk of money. Could you pay off a mortgage, pay off a credit card? Could something good be happening in the workspace that allows for an increase of your financial resourcefulness? But again, there's a lot of connection between land, home, property, real estate, and Mercury's in the house of rentals. A sudden opportunity to rent your property, an exciting opportunity to bring in more money because you could rent out your garage. I don't know. But there's ideas of financial well-being connected to home, property, real estate, family of origin, chunky money, work, and maybe rental opportunities as well, to be a landlord or a leasee. It doesn't really matter. And there is only one other way to parse this. You're going to have a new pet coming into your life, a reincarnation of a former animal that you once owned. Here's coming back to be your new cat, dog, or iguana. And the energy is happening around the 5th of the month of March, but you're starting to feel it on the 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. On the 7th and 8th, the sun will trine Mars. This is positive flowing energy between that Mars finally direct in your 9th house and that sun is in your 5th, a water trine, fertility, pregnancy, grandchildren, travel, romantic leisure travel to foreign lands being planned or booked or executed, things to do with lucky opportunities, to do with wealth and moving forward in exciting new ways. Honestly, the stellium of energies in your 5th house for Scorpio, it's not too shabby to go to the casino or play the lottery, but know your limit, play within it. I'm not advising you to gamble, but you're in the house of winning money and speculation and gambling. Your 5th house, you're having a stellium this month. So it is not too bad of an idea just to buy a ticket, right? And in Canada, we say, know your limit, play within it, which is a great little rhyme. There's like something you could be doing to do with legal and court matters with a lucky, exciting outcome on your behalf that you didn't expect. Feels like, a win, a big win here. So that is happening for you as well on the 7th and 8th of March. On the 8th to the 14th, we have a total eclipse of the sun, moon, but we also have the sun with Saturn and it sextiles Uranus. The combination is important. On the 11th to the 13th of the month, this is when Sun and Saturn are co-joining. Now, they're not normally good friends, but they work together the best they can in the house of your joy and pleasure and creativity and enthusiasm. Saturn has maybe put a damper on your romantic and sexual lives, or you're working hard in your creative and entrepreneurial projects, or some of your children have some hardships in their life. Since 2023, that will end in February of 24. But what I noticed is that the sun often illuminates stuff that you need to understand in order to create greater long game strategies with fertility, pregnancy, children, romance, sexuality, or creative and entrepreneurial projects. It sounds like, hey, Saturn, distant cold guy out on the edge of the solar system. Look, I got a flashlight here. And what is it we need to do in order for this energy of our creativity to be more sustainable? And it's interesting because, you had this energy in spring of 23 and spring of 24, and this is the last one for another 30 years. So you're trying to learn about sustainable pleasure, sustainable creativity, lasting, enduring results in artistry, etc. And if you want romance, it's got to get more serious, right? Saturn's like, we're not just having fun. We're like, we're going to get serious here. What's this relationship for? So you guys are definitely going to feel this energy of the sun conjunction to Saturn being kind of the last nail in a coffin of what you're going to do around the creative, artistic, inspired talents that you have in this lifetime. And the sextile to Uranus can bring in unexpected surprises to do with going viral. Like you could put out a song or a post or a piece of writing on the internet as Uranus and the house of the audience, and the Sun, Saturn, enduring results that are destined and a dream come true. And this is a good time for artists, creatives, writers, people in the online world who use the internet to reach the public, to have a smash hit of something or some kind. And March 8th to the 14th is that time we're talking, but with a precision around the 11th to the 13th. The full lunar eclipse turns the moon blood red. The blood moon eclipse is going to happen for the first time since the spring of 2007. A South Node, blood moon eclipse in Virgo. Your 11th house of friendships, groups of belonging, and career gains. Now, look, it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes the South Node brings an end to friendships that don't work and groups of belonging and tribes that we have created by choice that we no longer feel connected to. We could also lose a friend with this transit. Sometimes I've seen people lose friendships. They fall apart. Someone moves away. But this eclipse can also, as a full moon, with an eerie red glow, show you something you need to see. This is the house of a sibling one older, but it's also the house of the career money, the actual gains from the 10th, second from the 10th. You're making the money, you're getting the bucks, you're getting the recognition, you're getting the raises and promotions. A full moon revelation with a letting go South Node. Some of you might be getting ready to quit your job or change your career. And the reason is that Mars will be mid-April to mid-June, full steam, full direct motion through that 10th house after having retrograded there in December, January. And so, after having been there since November 3rd, retrograding December to the beginning of January, it means that you're really considering a big major move or change in career. And the South Node going through the career gains house can indicate that it's time to let go of one means of creating money. Certainly with a stellium in your money luck house of good fortune, all through the month of March, especially the beginning and the end of the month, there may be surprising, unexpected developments that allow you to let go of your current position or work or career path. And you've got a wound there anyway with Chiron. You've known since 2019, you're not in the right work path. Most of you know that. And health challenges have been there as well. And now you're going to turn around some of this. Now, I don't know how you do it, but it looks like you could come into some money. The Jupiter transit through to June indicates coming into money in some fundamental way. And some of you may experience that already, earlier on, like May through to October, right? When he was direct in your 8th house, and some of you may experience it now through to to June 9th. All right. So I'm just trying to say some changes in the work. More money is there for you to rely on through your spouse or yourself, so you don't have to worry about it as much. You could find that this lunar eclipse, which is very revelatory, could uncover some deeper wish, dream, or hope for your life path that you weren't consciously aware of. And you can begin to actually investigate what you truly desire and what you truly want to have happen in your life. Now, that eclipse is on the 14th of the month. And the moon will be in Virgo. Just trust me on that, right? And so there's the degree of the eclipse, 13th, 14th. This depends on your time zone. And this is just before midnight in Vancouver, Canada. And this is an eclipse that really does ask you to also receive this kind of delightful surprise or unexpected development from Uranus in your 7th house. And so again, maybe some of this is also connected to legal contracts or going viral, having a hit in some online endeavor, or some positive surprises with your spouse that allow for you to release and let go of so much work. Maybe your spouse gets a dream job and you can taper back your own ball busting or boob busting work levels. All right. So now we're going to talk about Mercury and Venus now in the middle of this video before we move into the chronological part of the month. That's because Mercury will retrograde on March 15th, and Venus also will retrograde, has been retrograding March the 1st through to April 12th. We'll start with Mercury, and we'll talk about what this means for you. So Mercury, the messenger of the gods, is actually moving into the sign, has moved onto the sign of Aries, will have moved on March the 3rd. And by the time he gets to the 15th of March, he needs to go back again and retrograde to the territory he came from. And this is indicating a revision, revising, or stalling out on something that you were thinking of getting going in the Aries sky. And the Aries sky in your chart is the work and health matters, pets and rentals. So you thought you're going to rent a property, lease a property as a landlord, rent a property as a tenant. Maybe you thought you could get a pet. Maybe you were thinking about a change in your health routines or your work routines. All of this was like on the idea block, right? Or a new job contract was or interviews were in play. Perhaps March the 3rd to April 15th. And then Mercury's like, wait a minute, let's pause for a minute and go backwards on this one. Within that work and pets and rentals, and this includes contracts for pets, house of your 6th house, Mercury will retrograde till March 30th in that sign, in your Aries 6th house. But then on March the 30th, he slides back into your fun, play, pleasure, fertility, pregnancy, romance, children, entrepreneurial business house. And he's back in that part of your sky from March 30th to April 7th in retrogradation. During the March retrograde, don't sign any new business contracts, work contracts. Don't sign anything to do with pets yet. There'll be something wrong. The breeder will have a false pregnancy. And with the dog that happened to me, do not get those agreements made under the retrograde if you can avoid it. That's the dates of that retrograde for those types of contracts are March 15th to the 30th. However, by the time you go direct April 7th, in general, you can go ahead and do anything about the matters we discussed. A retrograde Mercury in your 6th house brings work colleagues, bosses, and employees, employer relationship people, and information back to you from the past. You might hear from some of those people by email or phone call, March 15th to the 30th. And then March 30th to April 7th, you could hear back from former lovers or estranged children. And those people might be back on your radar, and you might be hearing from them again as well. Now, Venus is a lot more complicated and very rare, because the last time Venus did what she's about to do in the sky for you was back in 2017, before that 2009, before that 2001, in the spring of those years, basically January of those years through to the summer, June. You're kind of repeating the story. Well, those big differences this year, we have Pluto here, sextiling the whole affair. So please come check out that Venus retrograde course with me. Venus will have entered into the sign of Aries back on February 4th. And then by the time we get to March the 1st, she's now going to retrograde at 10 degrees of Aries. Now, her retrograde on March the 1st at 9 degrees, 10 degrees, 10 degrees of Aries over here, right? It is a story where you might find, right, that you are having to really reassess something to do with your health. Venus is a good goddess, and she wants to bring good health to you. That's part of her ambition. That's part of what she can do. So there may be some changes in your health routines and way that you can better your own health. She rules pleasure. And if there's any health challenges as she rules the house of addictions for you, you're 12, that you know you have to quit the weed, the vape, the cigarette, the nicotine. This is where she's going to help you do that. And so when she's retrograde, you might find that you're going back to reassess those addictions and maybe trying techniques that you've tried in the past to quit something. This time around, you'll be able to do it because Chiron is in attendance helping you heal the wound of addiction and self-undoing. So any of you Scorpios with those kinds of problems, look for that retrograde to help you out. She retrogrades in Aries, in the house of sickness, in the house of work. Again, job opportunities could come from the past. But on the 27th of March, she has slipped backwards into your 5th house. And that's where those former lovers and romantic partners from the past are returning out of the woodwork with phone calls or messages to you, especially with Mercury's help, between the 27th and April 12th. 27th of March to April 12th, when she goes direct. Also, creative projects could be revised. Creative projects from the past could be taken off the shelf and worked on. Business opportunities as an entrepreneur from the past return to you. Fertility and getting pregnant is a Venus story in the sign, you or your partner, in the sign of Pisces. And so you're in a fertility segment when she's backtracking here, March 27th to April 12th. And the retrograde could mean trying again, getting pregnant again or giving it a good try again. So let's see what happens. But also old romances from the past resurfacing. When she goes direct on April 12th through till the end of April, it's not too shabby a time for you to consider, full systems go dating and meeting new people and looking for that twin flame soulmate love if you're a single Scorpio. Now let's go ahead and finish the month out. So as we go to the halfway mark of the month and we move past the 15th, we're going to notice that we see around the 19th and 20th, Neptune and the Sun are co-joining. Neptune and the Sun together is kind of really good for dispelling any illusion or confusion you have about your art, your creativity, and your romance and your desire to have or have not children, because Neptune is sometimes just a little bit of a fog bank and the Sun can burn the fog off. So there's that. But destined changes and fated circumstances with the North Node indicate a big soul light and energy of divine spark shining brightly on Neptune. I'll be covering this more on my channel because if you want to also consider that Sun rules your 10th house of career, there can be some major career developments emerging through the arc of creativity and through the arc of things that have to do with your passion and your enthusiasm for your natural talents are. And you may be coming into a time in your life where you want to bring your real gifts and talents into the career sphere. And this dream come true vibration of Neptune, Sun, Saturn, North Node can make that become a reality, not on the 19th and 20th necessarily, because Neptune will come back into this part of your sky after March 30th. The Sun will connect with them again, but it's starting the ball rolling, okay, in that kind of energy of basically having a career in which you're utilizing your natural gifts and talents that you're really good at and finding your work and career enthusiastically and passionate and inspired. Otherwise, again, we're looking at romance and fertility matters here as well, being activated and highlighted the 11th to the 13th of the month. When the Sun is conjoined with Saturn and Neptune, did I say Neptune? No, I've moved past that. Did I jump way ahead? No, yeah. So I'm on the Neptune story. Sorry. So Neptune, When Neptune and the Sun are together on the 14th to the 22nd, you'll notice that Venus is sextiling Pluto. I want to really think about how you might use this, because Pluto can bring really great transformation and wealth into your life, with Venus in a sextile relationship to it, 21st, 22nd of the month. Let's move ourselves forward. There can be some excavation of something about your childhood or your family of origin that allows for you to prosper in your work and career. And it could be very soul worky. But on a practical note, debts that you owe or debts that are owed to you can be suddenly paid down or paid off in this kind of beautiful sextile that we're experiencing right here. And there'll be another direct motion version of it later. So in play is this idea of what Venus and Pluto would like to create for you here. You could get a dream job from home. You could get a very large pet that's your true love. You could find yourself activating the ability to secure a rental property or buy or sell a property with super important luck, but coming from the past, knowing that you might have attempted this at some point in the past already, and now you've got the money or the resources to do the purchase or sale of the property. And finally, I keep saying, what is this chunky money Jupiter doing up there? You might now have already procured the knowledge that you're going to come into some money and making decisions regarding home and home life from what do you truly value and want, in your work, in your home, in your home life, being a feature of how you're thinking about your life too, on the 21st, 22nd of the month. And then Mercury comes by on the 24th, 25th, and 26th and does exactly what Venus has done. He backs up, and then by the time we get to the 24th, 25th, and 26th, he sextiles Pluto. And Mercury's like contracts. So you might be signing legal documents, contracts, and negotiations with Venus. Wealth. It's a wealth yoga around money, work, money, health, pets, rentals, property, and tendencies. Blessings from Venus as well. On the 24th to the 31st, a lot of Saturn action takes the sky over. Saturn will be flowing to Uranus on Algol, the wealth star. That's in your 7th house, as well as Saturn will be trining Mars in your 9th house. Let's start off with Saturn. Okay, Saturn wants to make some of your talents and creativity into tangible long-form gains in your life. For example, or he wants you to get serious about having children and grow up already, or something going on with one of your already existing children. And then there's a sextile to Uranus. And Uranus is like a surprise, but the surprise comes through others, the marketplace, the audience, your significant other. And so again, it's not too shabby for those of you who are creating products into the internet world and having some really nice glow up for the whole last week of the month, the 24th to the 31st, between Saturn and Uranus. But then because Saturn is also trining Mars, we have to talk about the mini grand trine that's forming here. Mars will be all the way from about the 21st of March until April the 7th in a flowing relationship, all right, to Saturn. Now, that's usually hard work, active forbearance, discipline, structure, and anything you work hard for, but in a flowing way will be successful. That could be creative projects, hard work, traveling and going around and adventuring on a foreign journey, not usually hard work, but it can bring tangibly positive results to your sex life, your creativity, your fertility, your artistry, your entrepreneurship. Mars is also really flowing to this Uranus. And as time goes on, we reach the first week of April, we get a very tight mini grand trine between Saturn, Mars, and Uranus. And that kind of leans into the last week of March into early April. You're kind of excelling at some vision, dream, or goal connected to your purpose and meaning in life, connected to 7th house. So examples. Your dream come true is you got accepted at your favorite university. Dream come true as you're traveling abroad, you get pregnant with your partner. Dream come true, sudden unexpected opportunities to have an international success story in your art and creativity. That kind of thing. I don't know. It's very lovely. And so certainly during travel opportunities that may occur the last week of March, first week of April, you've got great superior blessings. All right. feeling like you won the lottery because you win at a court case, for example. That's another example of this. And Uranus is in the house of a significant other, and some of this may involve your partner and surprises that are positive in their life that connect to you as well. And that includes pregnancy and fertility. Finally, unexpected surprises that you're going to be a grandparent for some older Scorpios may emerge with the trine from Mars in the house of grandchildren to Saturn in the house of your children. And so that's another option. And the surprise is Uranus. Okay. And then finally, the last eclipse is in Aries. It's your sixth house. What is that sixth house all about? That sixth house is about your work. It's about your career job story, my job, my employer-employee relationships. You could be looking at a major change in that area of your life. It is the third eclipse, one of April of 2023, April 24, and this March 29th of 25. This is going to be an eclipse that involves sun and moon joined together. It's a new moon, and it's going to happen around 9 degrees. Just trust me on that. And it's right here. Chiron, the wounded one. Oh, well, you've been so crazy about work. May have had some significant on and on chronic health challenges belaboring you since 2019. And now we want to get out of that rut. Something wants to change. Something wants to heal here and move into something new. The closest support you have for this is Jupiter in the 8th, meaning that coming into some money luck and into some money can relieve you from the drudgery of a job that doesn't suit you or a career path that doesn't feel true or right. That eclipse also can open up golden opportunities for rentals, pets, and tenancy agreements, also for debt elimination. And this is going to start to open up doors that you will feel awakening about a month before the March 29th eclipse, even 6 weeks before the March 29th eclipse, up to 1 year later. All eclipses take that long. The eclipse involves this node of fate in your fifth house of fertility and pregnancy and romance, but also creativity, entrepreneurship. Some of you may quit your day job and start your own business in the wake of this eclipse in the year that follows. Some of you may make a baby. Some of you may find yourself in a blessed new romance, but in your case, single Scorpios connected to work environment relationships. So let me know how that eclipse plays out for you guys. You haven't had this kind of eclipse between this part of the sky since 2000 and this kind of eclipse since 2004, 5, and 6. Particularly, this eclipse would have been repeated similarly in the spring of 2006 and the year that followed that. So kind of try to parse the past in this regard. Thank you for listening, Scorpios. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Everything about me is in the description box below. You might want to join my Patreon community where I teach 3 classes a month. And you might want to join my Substack where you get free articles all about Pluto's journey over the next 20 years through the sign of Aquarius, my latest writing project, but also weekly audio forecasts of the week ahead, not replicating my YouTube content separately. I focus more on world events, but I also cover a bit for your sign. Monthly written reports for each sign. Those are about what to look for relative to Pluto in the month ahead for each sign and that kind of stuff. So let me know what you think. If you want to join any of that, I'd like to see you there. And thank you for listening. And thank you for subscribing if you already have. And if you haven't, give it a try. Thank you. Bye-bye.